Welcome to Intentional Insights. We're coming to the close of 2020. And as we come to the close of this year, this is one of those years that will definitely go down in the history books, won't it? As we come to the close of this year, I've been doing some thinking about this past year, 2020, and what were some of the things that enabled me to come to this place in 2020 and think these thoughts. This was a great year. Most people are saying 2020 is the year from hell. 2020 sucked. 2020 was a horrible year, horrible experience. 2020 was the worst year ever. And I'm coming to the close of 2020 thinking, man, 2020 was a great year. How is it that I can come to that place of 2020 being a great year? Been thinking about the tools we use and the things we've learned this past year. Actually learned this tool that I'm going to give you today a little over a year ago. And it is a tool that has had more impact in my life than any tool, resource, reading, anything I've ever used or done. We call it our mindset model. And here's what happened in me this year. I came to this belief that if you master your mind, you master your life. Think about this with me. If you master your mind, you master your life. You see, everything in our life, everything that our feelings, our emotions, all that stuff comes out of our mind. If you can get control of your thoughts, if you can get control of your mind, you can get control of your life. And so here's what happened in 2020. 2020 had all these negative circumstances, right? There's coronavirus, there's masks that we have to wear, there's presidential elections, there's all kinds of circumstances, all kinds of things that happen that were outside of our control. Our thoughts about those things are what produce our feelings. We have a model we use in our coaching, and this is what changed my life this year. I'm going to give you 5 letters. C-T-F-A-R. C-T-F-A-R. C is for circumstances. Our circumstances are always neutral. Our circumstances are things that happen around us that we have no control over. Our circumstances are things that somebody else does or something that happens in our world. Our circumstances, we don't have any control of our circumstances. That's just a fact. It happened. It's something that happened to me. My circumstances produce thoughts. I have thoughts about those circumstances. I have thoughts that come to my mind about having to wear a mask. I have to wear a mask. It's something that they're telling me I have to do. I have certain thoughts about that. I have certain beliefs about that. These things that go through my mind about wearing a mask. Those thoughts produce feelings. I feel anger, or I feel sad. I feel depressed. Those thoughts produce feelings. Those feelings produce actions. So the circumstance is this: coronavirus happens and we have to wear masks, and those thoughts about that mask, having to wear that mask, produces a feeling of anger and resentment, and so now I'm at the grocery store and somebody says you need to put on your mask, and all of a sudden I erupt. Why did I act that way? That action came from the thought I was having about having to wear a mask. Now you take that same circumstance and you change the thought. See, our circumstances produce thoughts, our thoughts produce feelings, our feelings produce actions, and our actions always produce a result. If I don't like the result I have, I can look back and I can trace that back to the thoughts I'm having. So I have this thought, which produces this feeling, which produces this action, which produces this result. I have to wear a mask, and I'm thinking, this helps protect people. That produces a totally different feeling. I have to wear a mask, and this produces this I'm being controlled thought. That produces feeling that produces a different type of action. I have this circumstance. I have to wear a mask, and I have this thought of I can't breathe, and I feel claustrophobic, and that produces an action. Everything that we think produces a different feeling or emotion, and those feelings and emotions produce different actions, and those different actions produce different results. What are you thinking about 2020? What are your thoughts about this year? Those thoughts have produced feelings. There's tons of people who are faced with anxiety and depression, and there's tons of people who are struggling with these deep emotions. And if you trace that back, you check the thoughts. Our circumstances produce thoughts. Our thoughts produce feelings. Our feelings produce actions. Our actions produce results. This one model, this one tool, this one resource has changed my 2020. You see, I start to look at everything and I start to go, what do I think about that? I get to choose my thoughts. There's a whole slew of different ways you can think about certain things. Man, this year's been a tough year. There's no question about it. I've been sad. I've been happy. I've had the emotions. I've felt the feels. But I get to choose. I get to choose. You get to choose the thoughts that you have. You don't control my thoughts. I control my thoughts. Circumstances can happen. That's okay. Are all of them good and bad? No. Is it okay to be sad? Yes. But I get to choose. 2020 has been a great year. We've accomplished tons of stuff this year. We've written content. We've produced videos. We've produced a course. We've done all kinds of stuff in the midst of 2020. How did it happen in the midst of 2020? It happened because we took thoughts captive and we made choices which produced actions that produced different results than we would have gotten another way. I want to encourage you as you close out this year, check your thoughts. It can change your life.